He is an ordinary dropout in Brooklyn, New York. He is a superhero who makes the bad guys in New York scared. He is the second volunteer police officer of the Horn Daily to fully smear after Spider-Man. He is Cavelier. Keywords of the novel. Marvel Knight without pop-ups. Download the complete set of Marvel Knight TXT, and read the latest chapters of Marvel Knight. Chapter 1. The Birth of Knights, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 The Birth of Knights, Part 1. In June 2012, Hancock St. in Brooklyn, New York, a skinny Chinese teenager was trapped in an alley by two black youths. Kid. Give me all the money on your body now. I don't have any money on me. Just now, I was robbed. The faces of two black youths showed a ferocious smile. It is obvious that they do not believe what the young man said. A black young man walked towards the boy and threatened, "Humph. Do you think we'll believe what you're saying? If we find money from you later, you'll look good." After a moment, the black young man slapped the boy hard and cursed, "Damn it. This poor guy. It seems like he was just robbed. What a bad luck." The boy wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and wobbled up from the ground. "Big brothers, can I go now? Get lost. Next time you pass by here, remember to bring money with you. Otherwise, we must make sure you look good." The young man nodded obediently and said, "Thank you, big brothers. I'll get out of here." I saw the young man stumble out of the alley and take a deep breath. Hey. What a day. I've been robbed twice a day. I've run out of lunch money. After speaking, the young man lowered his head and looked at the clothes on his body. Ah. My clothes are torn. When I get home, my mom will definitely be nagging me again. Oh. What a day of misfortune. The young man lowered his head in frustration and walked towards the front. This young man is called L.V. Nguyen. L.U. Nguyen's great-grandfather came to this free country to seek gold. But now, 3 generations have passed. L.V. Nguyen's great-grandfather, L.V. Nguyen's grandfather, and L.V. Nguyen's father were all shot and killed on the street. The L.V. family only has a whole family of widows left. L.V. Nguyen was raised by her grandmother and mother through hard work. However, not long ago, L.V. Nguyen's grandmother passed away because she was seriously ill and had no money to treat her. Now, only L.V. Nguyen and her mother rely on each other. L.V. Nguyen's mother opened a tailor's shop in a poor area of Brooklyn, barely making a living by sewing clothes for people. L.V. Nguyen dropped out of high school before finishing and became an apprentice at a pizza shop. Due to poverty, L.V. Nguyen was often ostracized by his classmates at school. Due to poverty, after dropping out of school, L.V. Nguyen couldn't find a good job and could only work at a pizza shop on the 7th Avenue roadside in Brooklyn. The manager of this pizza shop is also a Chinese named Li Hua. The daughter of the store manager, Li Mei, once attended the same high school as L.V. Nguyen. After hearing that L.V. Nguyen had dropped out of school, Li Mei begged her father to let L.V. Nguyen come to the store to work. Li Hua couldn't resist his daughter's plea, so he had to agree to allow L.V. Nguyen, who was only 15 years old, to become an apprentice in his own store. And today, it happens to be L.V. Nguyen's first day as an apprentice at a pizza shop. L.U. Nguyen, with his head drooping, continued walking towards the 7th Avenue listlessly. "Young man. You look like you really need help." As she was walking, L.V. Nguyen was suddenly stopped by a mysterious person whose whole body was covered in black. After looking at the mysterious person, L.V. Nguyen politely replied, "Yes. I really need help now. Because I don't have the money to have lunch." A strange smile suddenly appeared on the mysterious person's face. "What I mean is, you need courage, fighting spirit, and strength." Courage. Fighting spirit. Strength. Can these be eaten for lunch? No way. Sorry, I don't need anything like what you said. I just want to work at a pizza shop now. Today is my first day at work, and I don't want to be late. Youth, some people are destined to become heroes. Do you want to become a superhero? I'm sorry. I don't want to. Don't rush to reject me. If you were a superhero, you wouldn't have been robbed by 2 gangs this morning. On the contrary, you could have knocked them down and upheld justice. The mysterious man's words touched LV Nyen. The mysterious person, seeing that LV Nyen was moved, immediately took advantage of the heat and continued, "Young man, think carefully about how your father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all died. Do you hope that there will be more single-parent children like you in this world?" LV Nyen suddenly clenched her fist and shouted, "No. I don't want it. It seems that you have finally figured it out." "Yes. I want to become a superhero. Please help me." "Great. You should go work at the pizza shop now." "Ah. Tonight at 10 o'clock, I will be waiting for you at your doorstep." "Do you know who I am?" "Of course. I've been observing you for more than a day or 2. "Who are you?" "Me. My name is Caesar, and I am a university professor. You can call me Professor Caesar in the future. Remember, tonight at 10 o'clock, we will never see each other again." After Professor Caesar finished speaking, the figure disappeared in front of LV Nyen. Professor Caesar. What a strange guy. Can he really help me become a superhero? Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, it was January 2013. Located in the pizza shop on the 7th Avenue, LV Nyen is undergoing the ultimate test. Li Hua stood in front of LV Nyen and said seriously, "Xiao Nyen, today is a very special day for you. I hope you don't let down your studies over the past 6 months." "Yes, master. I will definitely make the most perfect pizza." Today is the day for LV Nyen to graduate. For over half a year, LV Nyen has been working hard every day at a pizza shop. Now, LV Nyen has finally reached the time to graduate. I saw LV Nyen start to operate proficiently, and a seafood pizza was quickly completed. LV Nyen put the pizza into the oven and waited for the final judgment moment to arrive. Ding dong. When LV Nyen placed the freshly baked seafood pizza in front of Li Hua, a pleased smile appeared on Li Hua's face. Li Hua took out a small piece of seafood pizza and tasted it in his mouth. Immediately, Li Hua congratulated LV Nyen, "Congratulations, Xiao Nyen. You can graduate. The seafood pizza you made has the same taste as my own." Upon hearing this, LV Nyen couldn't help but raise her hands high and shout loudly, "Yeah. I have graduated." The heavenly sound of a young girl came through. "Congratulations, Xiao Nyen. Thanks to Sister Mei. If it weren't for Sister Mei introducing me to this job, I might still be wandering the streets now. I introduced you to my dad's shop because you and your aunt worked too hard. But I didn't expect you to be so talented in making pizza." LV Nyen was praised and couldn't help but touch his own head. "Actually, it's nothing. I'm just doing whatever my master asks me to do." End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Birth of Knights, Middle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The Birth of Knights, Middle. For LV Nyen, this day would have been the most beautiful day in her life. However, everything beautiful has changed because of a sudden robbery. Just as Lu Nyen was being assessed by Li Hua and his daughter, a black man holding a gun suddenly broke into a pizza shop. Bang! As soon as the black man entered the pizza shop, he fired a shot into the air. "Give me everything honestly. Hold your head in both hands." The black man held a gun and threatened the customers at the pizza shop as he walked towards the cashier. The black man walked up to the cashier and threatened the female cashier, "Money. Give me all the money." The female cashier was so scared that she couldn't speak when she first encountered this kind of thing. The black man saw the female cashier standing in place without any reaction and immediately threatened fiercely, "I'll count 3. If you don't hand over the money again, I'll kill you. When the first gunshot rang out just now, Li Hua heard it. Li Hua said to LV Nian and Li Mei, you two stay here, no matter what happens outside, don't go out. Xiao Nian, please protect your sister Mei. LV Nianxin swore confidently to Li Hua, Master, don't worry. I will definitely protect Sister Mei. Li Hua smiled and nodded at LV Nian, then turned around and left the kitchen. When Li Hua appeared, it happened to be when a black man was threatening the cashier with a gun. Stop it. I'm the owner of this pizza shop. If you have anything, come to me. Don't make things difficult for my staff. Great. Are you the manager of this pizza shop? I don't mean anything else, I'm just here for money. Give me the money. Immediately. Immediately. Upon hearing this, Li Hua did not move. Young man, robbery is not the right path. If you are caught by the police, you will go to jail. The black man's face showed disdainful mockery upon hearing the words. Prison. Ha ha ha. I just came out of prison. Don't threaten me with such nonsense. Hurry up and hand over the money. I count to 3, and if you don't give me the money, I promise to use the thing in my hand to make a big hole in your head. 1. 2. Li Hua looked at the black man in front of him and shook his head helplessly. Then, Li Hua walked up to the cash register and opened the drawer. The black man saw the cash register open, rushed over, and pushed Li Hua away. Ha ha ha. It's all mine. It's all mine. The black man rudely put the money into his own pocket. After all the money was loaded, the black man turned around and sternly warned Li Hua, stinky old man, don't preach to me next time. Otherwise, I'll shoot you. The black man finished speaking, grabbed a gun, and hurriedly left the pizza shop. LV Nian and Li Mei heard that there was no sound outside, so they ran out to check the situation. Li Mei saw Li Hua sitting on the ground and immediately ran over to check the situation. Dad. Are you okay? No, it's okay. It's just that I accidentally bumped into my waist just now, it's okay. Dad. Let's call the police. Those bandits are so despicable. In broad daylight, they dare to rob. I curse them for not dying easily. Xiaomei, continue reading your book with peace of mind. These things are not something you should worry about. Li Mei looked at her father with some concern. Father, will those bandits still come? Have they been here before? Li Hua smiled happily at Li Meiqiang and comforted him, ha ha ha. Foolish daughter, you've been overthinking. This is New York. You should know, the number of police officers in New York is the highest in all cities in the world. Our daily lives are very safe. Today is just an accident. LV Nian stood beside him, silently watching Li Hua and his daughter conversing, feeling very uncomfortable in her heart. LV Nian couldn't help but think of her father. LV Nian's father was a craftsman who made Song Yubing, and his ancestral craft of making Song Yubing. LV Nian's father would appear in the park in Brooklyn at noon every day to sell Song Yubing. On that day, there was also a black young man holding a gun who robbed LV Nian's father. LV Nian's father engaged in a fierce battle with the robbers for just $20. Finally, LV Nian's father was shot several times and fell into a pool of blood. He died when he was taken to the hospital. And the killer is still at large. Lu Nian thought of this and suddenly clenched his hands into fists, blurting out, these damn city scumbags. I'll make them pay for the bleeding sooner or later. Li Hua and Li Mei were startled by LV Nian's words. Li Mei looked at LV Nian with some joy and said, Xiao Nian, I didn't expect you to have such a sense of justice. Sister Mei supports you. Li Hua scolded with a serious expression, Xiao Nian, you are only 16 years old now, which is the best age in life. Don't think about those messy things, make your pizza well. Your future is limitless. The completely different attitudes of Li Hua and Li Mei made LV Nian unable to laugh or cry. However, with one side being the master and the other being the good sister, LV Nian couldn't afford to offend either. "Master, Sister Mei, I remember everything you said." After a while, 2 police officers received a report and arrived at Li Hua's pizza shop. "There are too many robberies happening in New York every day." After 2 police officers made a note for Li Hua, they hurriedly left. "Father, can they really catch the robber just now? We need to trust the police." After Li Hua finished speaking, it seemed that he didn't have much confidence in it either. He grabbed the water glass on the table and poured it all down. Li Mei seemed to notice her father's abnormality, but she said something more. At noon, Li Mei and LV Nian enjoyed a seafood pizza made by LV Nian herself in the shop. "Mei, you're so lucky to have the seafood pizza I made myself." "Yes, yes. Sister's luck." In front of LV Nian, Li Mei was very expressionless, grabbing the pizza with big hands and desperately stuffing it into her mouth. "Mei, these are enough for you to eat. You shouldn't be in such a hurry, right? Xiao Nian, the seafood pizza you made is even more delicious than my father's." "Mei, isn't it that exaggerated? Master's craftsmanship is much better than mine." Upon hearing this, Li Mei seemed to have thought of something. She shook her head with a hint of sadness and continued to eat the seafood pizza in her hand without saying anything. Upon seeing this, LV Nian wisely chose to remain silent. Just when everyone thought that nothing would happen again today, something happened. The black man who had just come to rob in the morning actually came to the pizza shop to rob again in the afternoon. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Birth of Knights, Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Birth of Knights, Part 2. Black youth used the same routine as in the morning. The black youth walked into the pizza shop with a gun and fired a shot at the ceiling without hesitation. Bang! The black young man shouted at the customers in the shop, "Give me everything honestly. Hold your head in both hands." Then, the black young man walked up to the cashier with ease and shouted at the female cashier, "Hurry up. Take out all the money." Within a day, the female cashier was frightened twice and finally couldn't bear the psychological pressure, fainting on the spot. The black young man saw the female cashier faint, and there was no mercy in his eyes. The black youth spat at the female cashier and said, "Pooh. What bad luck." The black youth walked up to the cashier and began to explore, wanting to open the cash register. At this moment, Li Hua was lying in the employee lounge. Li Hua suffered a serious injury this morning, but he didn't want his daughter and LV Nian to worry, so he chose to hold on. But in the afternoon, Li Hua felt unbearable pain and sent Li Mei and LV Nian to the pharmacy to buy medicine. The thought of her daughter being very close to LV Nian made Li Hua feel a bitter feeling in her heart. That feeling is like a Chinese cabbage that has been planted for many years, being stung by someone else's pig. Li Hua was patiently waiting for Li Mei and LV Nian to buy medicine back, but unexpectedly, at this moment, the robbers came again. Li Hua dragged his sick body into the hall. Li Hua immediately recognized the robber, who had just arrived this morning. "It's you. Ha ha ha. It's you again. Then be happy and give up all the money. I was disturbed by you this morning. Where else is there business in my store? I'm out of money." When black youth heard that they had no money, their attitude immediately changed. The black youth held a gun against Li Hua's head and said with a fierce expression, "No money. Humph. If you don't have money, go get it for me. I originally wanted to rob the money in the store, but since you're so uncooperative. Humph. Now I want 100,000. If I can't get it out, I'll kill you." Li Hua was filled with grief and indignation when he heard the black young lion speak loudly. "Not a penny. You can kill me. Do you think I dare not kill you?" Bang! The black youth shot Li Hua's leg without hesitation. Li Hua let out a scream, ah. Because the black youth used shotguns, Li Hua's legs instantly turned into flesh and blood. The black youth had no sympathy and continued to threaten Li Huadao, money. Give me money. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Li Hua looked at his missing leg, tears streaming down his face. I will never argue with others, and I never expected to end up like this now. Even if I die, I can't let you, this beast, be better off. Li Hua suddenly had a sudden heart attack and rushed towards the black youth. The black youth did not expect Li Hua to dare to attack him, and was momentarily stunned, allowing Li Hua to succeed. Li Hua pounced on the black youth like he was crazy, biting them with his mouth. Crazy person. You crazy person. The black youth engaged in hand-to-hand combat with Li Hua. However, in this hand-to-hand combat, there was no suspense. The black youth easily got rid of Li Hua and then fired a shot towards his chest. Bang! Li Hua widened his eyes in shock, looking at the black youth with resentment in his eyes. The next second, Li Hua lay on the ground and could never stand up again. The black youth spat at Li Hua's body. This old madman. It's just like the guy I met in Brooklyn Park. That guy fought with me for only $20 at the beginning, and was shot to death by me. Speaking of it, that guy is also a yellow man. Bah! You deserve to be killed by me. You don't want money. Bang! The sound of something landing came from the entrance of the pizza shop. Li Mei and LV Nian returned to the pizza shop at some point. The words of the black youth just now entered LV Nian's ear without stopping. Father. As soon as Li Mei entered the door, she saw her father lying in a pool of blood and immediately ran forward. The black youth killed someone and dared not linger in the pizza shop, hastily leaving with a gun in hand. When the black youth walked to the entrance of the pizza shop, they brushed past LV Nian. The black youth did not notice that LV Nian's face was constantly twitching. The words of the black youth just now are constantly replaying in LV Nian's mind. Brooklyn Park. Just $20. Shot to death. The death of her father, combined with the tragic death of her master in front of her, made LV Nian's emotions extremely unstable. Suddenly, LV Nian roared into the sky, ah, 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 ah. Then, LV Nian ran wildly on the road like he had gone crazy. In LV Nian's mind, he couldn't help but recall Professor Caesar's earnest teachings from the past. In this world, there is no absolute justice or absolute evil. It is also a gun that can be used to save people in some hands, but becomes a weapon in others' hands. What kind of person you want to be depends on your heart. I can give you strong strength, but I cannot teach you what kind of person you should be. Xiaonian, the future is in your own hands. If one day you crave strength, come back here and drink it. But remember, once you drink it, it means you will bid farewell to the life of ordinary people completely. Remember, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. LV Nian ran at the fastest speed to Hanson Place Church located at the intersection of Hanson PL and South Portland Avenue in Brooklyn. Hanson Place Church is a church. There is a secret base underground in Hanson Place Church, which is where Professor Caesar trains LV Nian. LV Nian skillfully found the entrance to the secret base. Facial recognition. Scanning past. Welcome home. Mr. LV Nian. Accompanied by familiar electronic sounds, LV Nian took the elevator and arrived at the secret base located nearly 1 kilometer underground in Hanson Place Church. No one knows how this secret base was built. Professor Caesar is unwilling to talk much, and LV Nian is also inconvenient to ask more questions. But this is a highly intelligent secret base. The technological level in the secret base far exceeds that of the outside world. Everything in the secret base is already familiar to LV Nian. LV Nian arrived at a mysterious storage cabinet in the secret base. In the storage cabinet, there is a small bottle of purple potion with Cavelier written on it. This bottle of potion is called the Night Potion by Professor Caesar. This bottle of Night Potion will give you powerful power, but as you gain this power, you will also lose a lot. Whether or not to take this bottle of Night Potion depends on yourself. However, I will keep it here forever. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Night Birth, End. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Night Birth, End. LV Nyen looked at the purple potion and couldn't help but imagine the rigorous training she had received in this secret base in the past 6 months. All of this is to make LV Nyen a Cavalier. Although LV Nyen did not know what Professor Caesar's true purpose was, he knew that he was finally going to become a true Cavalier today. LV Nyen placed her hand on the password lock of the storage cabinet. Fingerprint authentication, passed. Clack. The door of the storage cabinet automatically opens. LV Nyen took out the bottle of purple potion from the storage cabinet. Father. Master. I will definitely seek revenge for both of you. Professor Caesar, please grant me strength. After LV Nyen finished speaking, he looked up and drank the purple potion in one gulp. LV Nyen casually threw the bottle of purple potion into the trash can, then came to the bed and lay down quietly. The medicinal effect quickly came up, and LV Nyen closed her eyes exhausted and fell into a deep sleep. LV Nyen had a dream, a very long one. In her dream, LV Nyen made many new friends and faced many choices. Until the end of the dream, LV Nyen encountered a terrifying presence. LV Nyen exerted all her strength, but was unable to defeat this terrifying opponent. Finally, LV Nyen was brutally killed by his opponent. Ah ah ah. LV Nyen shouted and woke up from his dream. LV Nyen touched her head and it was still around her neck. So everything just now was just a dream. But it's really so real. It seems like it was something I personally experienced. LV Nyen got up from the bed and saw that the surface of her body was sticky, with a thick layer of black mucus attached to it. What are these? LV Nyen curiously touched the black mucus with her hand and then sniffed it in front of her nose. What a stink! What exactly is this? LV Nyenfei quickly ran to the bathroom to take a shower. LV Nyen washed continuously for more than 10 minutes before thoroughly removing the dirt from her body. Walking out of the bathroom, LV Nyen finally remembered that she had just drunk the night's potion. I don't know if what Professor Caesar said is true or false. Do I really have powerful power now? LV Nyen walked up to a horizontal bar with suspicion. Previously, LV Nyen put in a lot of effort to do pull.ups, but could only do a dozen or so. But now. Duong. LV Nyen jumped up hard, trying to grab the horizontal bar, but unexpectedly, the force was too strong, and LV Nyen collided directly with the smallpox chart of the secret base. Fortunately, the quality of the ceiling is good and it was not damaged by LV Nyen. After landing on the ground, LV Nyen covered his own head and screamed in pain, it hurt so much. Ha! How could I jump so high? Is that the effect of the night potion? LV Nyen walked up to a boxing sandbag again. Previously, LV Nyen suffered a lot in front of this boxing sandbag. LV Nyen is only 1.75 meters tall and weighs only 50 kilograms. Such a slim figure has made LV Nyen a target of bullying from a young age. Now, LV Nyen stands in front of the boxing sandbag again. Who? LV Nyen calmed down and used all her strength to punch the punching sandbag. Boom. A scene that left LV Nyen stunned. The punching sandbag was directly blown out by LV Nyen's punch. For the past 6 months, LV Nyen used to play this boxing sandbag every day, but it didn't even move. But now, LV Nyen, Chapter 5. Night's First Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Night's First Battle, Strange. Why doesn't Sister May answer the phone? LV Nien couldn't contact Li Mei and was extremely anxious. At this moment, LV Nien suddenly felt that she had made a mistake just now. At that time, Li Hua had just been shot dead, but LV Nien left Li Hua and Li Mei alone. No matter what LV Nien thinks, there is no regret medicine to take in this world. LV Nien decided to visit Li Mei's house first. Whoosh! LV Nien ran at full speed because she was worried about Li Mei. This run doesn't matter, LV Nien just caused a small riot in Brooklyn, New York. The night potion successfully unleashed LV Nien's potential. LV Nien's current strength, speed, physical strength, and reaction ability have all reached twice the level of a normal adult. Breaking the world record is a matter of minutes for LV Nien now. But LV Nien wouldn't be foolish enough to participate in any Olympic Games. Because there are two quite terrifying organizations in this world, the Divine Shield Agency and the Hydra. Once LV Nien shows any abnormalities, there is a possibility that he may be captured by someone and then used as a mouse for experiments. Professor Caesar has repeatedly told Lu Nien about the darkness of the Divine Shield Bureau and the Hydra. Remember, this world is far from as simple as you may seem on the surface. Even if you become a true Cavalier in the future, you are just a slightly more powerful ordinary person. Remember, you must not be too high profile in anything you do in the future, otherwise you will definitely pay a bleeding price. Lu Nien had all her heart set on meeting Li Mei, but for a moment she forgot that she was no longer an ordinary person. LV Nien can reach a running speed of 15 meters per second while sprinting with all her strength. 15 meters per second, converted to a speed of 54 kilometers per hour. At first glance, it seems that LV Nien's strength has not been greatly improved. But this speed, combined with LV Nien's physical strength and jumping ability, allows LV Nien to easily reach the desired location in the shortest possible time. Under normal circumstances, LV Nien needs to walk 20 minutes from the pizza shop to reach Li Mei's home. But now, LV Nien appeared at Li Mei's doorstep in less than 5 minutes. Dong dong dong. LV Nien couldn't wait to knock on the door of Li Mei's house. Dong dong dong. Dong dong dong. Li Mei's neighbor impatiently poked her head out of the house and shouted at LV Nien, "Stop knocking. There's no one in their house." "How do you know?" "Just now, the police came over and took away the woman from home. Maybe something was wrong." "You're talking nonsense." "Yawn, I'm not talking nonsense. The women in this family are very unscrupulous, often carrying their husbands' backs and messing around with many people outside." "You're speechless." "Cut it. I have no grudges or grievances against them. What have I wronged her for? Believe it or not. Anyway, don't knock on the door again. There's no one at their house. I still have to sleep." Yawn. Li Mei's neighbor finished speaking and put her head back. LV Nien stood still and murmured to himself, he must be talking nonsense. How could Auntie be that kind of person? Absolutely not. Just as Lu Nien was in a daze, a familiar figure and carriage arrived at the door of Li Mei's house. The figure saw LV Nien blocking the way and impatiently cursed, "Kid. Get out of here. Don't stand here blocking my way." LV Nien felt her voice very familiar, so she lifted her head and looked at it. "It's you." Lu Nien didn't expect that the black young man who robbed the pizza shop twice would appear here. Appearing in front of oneself. The black youth was also startled when they saw LV Nien's face. "How could it be you?" Lu Nien clenched his fists and gritted his teeth, saying, "I was worried about not finding your person. I didn't expect you to come knocking on your door. I want you to pay the price for what you have done." The black youth lazily replied, "Kid, don't get the wrong idea. If you're willing to obediently leave now, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I'll kill you." "Did you kill me? Just like how you killed my father back then?" "Your father? I don't know you, how could I possibly kill your father?" Don't talk nonsense there. 2 years ago in Brooklyn Park, a man fought against you to save his hard-earned $20. You shot and killed him. Oh. Did you say that? I didn't mean to do it. Who made him so inconspicuous? He didn't even want his life for $20. I robbed him and he obediently gave me the money. But then again, if he really gave me $20 at that time, maybe I would still kill him if I got angry. Ha ha ha. The black youth finished speaking and burst out laughing wildly. Squeak. Lu Nien's clenched fist made a noticeable sound in her hair. LV Nien said word by word, "You should die." The black youth heard LV Nien's words and didn't take them seriously. I'm damn it, but so what? The police can't even catch me now. Ha ha ha. Today, I will personally take you to the police station. You want to die? The black youth took out a sharp dagger from his pocket and looked at LV Nien with a fierce expression on his face. Kid. If you want to blame me, I'll blame you for meddling. Since your father died in my hands, I'll be good enough to do it to the end and send you to see your father. After the black youth finished speaking, he held a dagger and directly rushed towards LV Nien. The dagger pointed straight at LV Nien's chest. If it were LV Nien from before, this move would definitely not have been able to escape and he would have died on the spot. But now LV Nien has become a Cavelier. With a perception power twice that of an ordinary person, LV Nien easily dodged the attack of the dagger. The black youth failed to hit with a single blow, and their expression became somewhat shocked. Ha! I didn't expect you to be a practitioner. LV Nien ignored the teasing of the black youth. Professor Caesar often taught LV Nien, attack is the best defense. Lu Nien now feels his whole body boiling with passion. This is LV Nien's first battle in life. It is also the first battle of Cavalier's life. Professor Caesar's usual teaching of fighting skills to LV Nien has finally come in handy. LV Nien raised his hands and put on a defensive posture, confronting the black youth. Black young people no longer show mercy when they see this situation. The black young man skillfully turned the dagger in his hand a few times, then shook it with his back and rushed towards LV Nien again. Shwa! The dagger swung towards LV Nien vertically. LV Nien had sharp eyes and quick hands. As the dagger struck his head, he firmly grasped the hand of the black youth holding the dagger with both hands. The black youth wanted to pull their hand out, but found themselves unable to do it. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Knight's First Battle, continued. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Knight's First Battle, continued. The black youth saw that their hand could not be pulled back and immediately changed their attack strategy. The black young man suddenly threw the dagger in his hand towards LV Nien's face. It is impossible for LV Nien to completely avoid such a close distance. Moreover, LV Nien's hands were still holding onto the hands of the black youth, with no time to let go. Helpless, LV Nien had to tilt her head to avoid. Scratch. A sharp dagger brushed past LV Nien's face. Lu Nien's face was scratched by a dagger, and blood began to flow out. Lu Nien felt the pain on her face and laughed back angrily, That's great. You've successfully angered me. Black youth, upon seeing this, did not hesitate. What a pity. I haven't killed you so recently. Lu Nien stopped talking nonsense to the black youth, lifted his right foot, and kicked the black youth's left leg with all his might. Lu Nien's angry strike was powerful. Bang bang. A crisp bone-cracking sound came. Lu Nien just kicked and broke the left leg of the black youth. Ah. The black youth felt pain and wanted to collapse on the ground. But the hand of the black youth was being tightly grasped by LV Nien, and the black youth's desire to sit down became a luxury. The black youth half knelt in front of LV Nien like this, with continuous wailing in their mouths. Squeak. LV Nien's hands suddenly exerted force, and a crisp bone-cracking sound came from the black youth's right hand. Ah ah ah. The black youth let out a more mournful scream than just now. LV Nien finally let go of his hands, and the black youth fell down. The black young man lay on the ground, sometimes covering his broken leg with his left hand, sometimes covering his broken hand with his left hand, unsure of what to do. The only thing that remains unchanged is the continuous screams of black youth. How miserable, how miserable. The first battle of LV Nien ended so easily. LV Nien didn't even realize that his former weak self could now defeat a taller black youth with just 2 moves. In LV Nien's mind, not only did the scene of his father lying in the hospital morgue come to mind. Father lay quietly there, his eyes wide open, unable to close his eyes. Thinking of this, LV Nien's eyes turned red. LV Nien suddenly clenched his right fist and raised it high, wanting to punch the black youth's head and avenge his father. But when LV Nien's fist was about to hit the head of the black youth, LV Nien suddenly stopped. No way. I can't be a murderer. He's a murderer and can do whatever he wants. I can't become like him. LV Nien's eyes gradually regained their clarity. Although LV Nien did not punch the black youth's head, he punched the wall behind him. A hole the size of a duck egg immediately appeared on the wall. LV Nien's punch startled the people in the room. What's going on here, here? How could the wall suddenly protrude? LV Nien punched and a large part of his frustration flowed out of his heart. LV Nien ran to the nearest public telephone booth, made an emergency call, and told the police the detailed location of the black youth. After making the phone call, LV Nien hid in the dark and observed the black youth in secret to prevent them from escaping before the police arrived. But LV Nien thought too much. Black youth now have 1 hand and 1 leg broken, wanting to stand up and walk is a luxury, let alone running away. 10 minutes later, a police car arrived at the scene. 2 police officers got off the car and took the black youth into the police car to leave. LV Nien breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the black youth being successfully taken into the police car. Evil brings retribution. I think he will repent well in prison for the rest of his life. After solving the problem with the black youth, LV Nien finally remembered that his main task of coming here had not been completed yet. LV Nien came to search for Li Mei, but she is not at home. LV Nien immediately ran to the public telephone booth just now and dialed Li Mei's phone again. This time, someone finally answered the phone. Mei Jie. Where are you? I called you several times just now but no one answered. Li Mei's weak and helpless voice came from the other end of the phone. Xiao Nian, my father is dead. My father is dead. Mei Jie. Where are you? I'll go find you right away. LV Nien anxiously inquired about Li Mei's whereabouts, but only Li Mei's crying could be heard on the other end of the phone. The more Li Mei was like this, the more worried LV Nien became. After inquiring about Li Mei multiple times, LV Nien finally found out about her whereabouts. Downstate Hospital. Sister Mei, I'll be there soon. Downstate Hospital is the closest hospital to a pizza restaurant. 450, Clarkson Avenue located in Brooklyn, New York. It takes 15 minutes to take a taxi from LV Nien's current position. But LV Nien can't wait anymore. Just like before, LV Nien chose to run over. A few minutes later, LV Nien appeared in the lobby of Downstate Hospital. Li Mei did not tell LV Nien the specific location on the phone, so LV Nien had to run to the medical guide to inquire. I'm looking for a person named Li Hua. His body has just been delivered here. Li Hua. Yes. When was it delivered? It's today. Around noon. Okay, let me check. Li Hua. Found him. He's in the second morgue. Are you his family? He is my master. Then go take a last look at him. His body will be cremated tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. LV Nguyen immediately rushed towards the second morgue. In the ward of Downstate Hospital, there lives a big shot who speaks big or small. The president of the Brooklyn Blue Sky Club was injured and moved into Downstate Hospital due to being assassinated by an enemy. In Big Apple City, there are not 1,000 revenge incidents happening every day, but there are also 800. The police are not surprised by such incidents. The Blue Sky Society is a small gang in Brooklyn, consisting of over 20 members. The members of the Blue Sky Club are all a group of gentlemen who make a living by stealing. The president of the Blue Sky Club is even more outstanding. The president of the Blue Sky Association, a few days ago, I didn't know which circuit in his brain hadn't turned around, but he actually went to the home of the Underground Emperor in New York. Jin Yong. Jin Bing. What kind of person is it? Jin is undoubtedly the Underground King of New York, and even all of America. Jin He, originally named Wilson Fisk. Jin's father is a small leader of a gang. Jin's childhood dream was to establish a underworld empire. Just a few years ago, Jin finally realized his dream. Jin relied on force and strategy to successfully reach the summit, becoming the only king of the New York underworld. The president of the Blue Sky Society was subsequently pursued by the entire New York underworld. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Experience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Experience. The president of the Blue Sky Association lay in the hospital bed, feeling a bit uneasy. When the president of the Blue Sky Association went, he didn't know that the villa was one of Jin He's residences. If he had known that it was Jin He's home, even if he had given the president of the Blue Sky Society 100 courage, he wouldn't have dared to come and steal it. At that time, someone offered a high price to hire the president of the Blue Sky Association and asked him to go to that villa to steal a document. The president of the Blue Sky Club will never forget that day in his lifetime. It was a dark and windy night, and the president of the Blue Sky Club, as usual when going out to work, was dressed in night clothes, fully equipped, and armed to the teeth. That is a very ordinary villa located in Queens, New York. It's just strange that the several villas around this villa seem to be completely deserted and have not been inhabited for a long time. Looking back now, the president of the Blue Sky Club wished he could give himself a big slap in the ear. The person living in this villa is obviously a high-ranking figure, otherwise the surrounding area would never be so desolate. At that time, the president of the Blue Sky Association did not think so much. As usual, he easily avoided the patrollers in the yard and sneaked into the villa. As soon as he entered the villa, the president of the Blue Sky Club noticed that the villa was far from as simple as it looked on the outside, because the interior of the villa was too luxurious. Inside the villa, almost everything visible to the naked eye is made of pure gold. And the decorations on the wall are all priceless masterpieces. The president of the Blue Sky Association, as one of the industry leaders, has a natural ability to judge the value of various items. If I take anything from this room, it will be enough for me to have a worry-free life. At this point, the president of the Blue Sky Association regretted some of it. I didn't inquire about it beforehand, so I went straight to my door. Who could have owned such a villa throughout New York? The president of the Blue Sky Club felt a hint of curiosity in his heart. It was precisely because of this curiosity that he experienced a terrifying experience afterwards. The president of the Blue Sky Club will follow the pre-designed route to the study on the second floor of the villa. The study on the second floor, with the door lightly closed, revealed a glimmer of light through the crack in the door. It seems that there is someone in the room. The president of the Blue Sky Club was already prepared for such an unexpected situation. The president of the Blue Sky Club took out a mouse from the toolbox on his body. This mouse has undergone special training and can follow the instructions of the president of the Blue Sky Club. I saw this mouse running to the other side of the study and making a noise. Squeak. Squeak. At the same time, the president of the Blue Sky Club, using his gecko skills, quickly climbed up the ceiling and waited for the opportunity to sneak into the study. The door to the study opened and a man with a fierce face walked out of it. The president of the Blue Sky Club keenly noticed that both arms of this man were actually mechanical arms. "Monster," whispered the president of the Blue Sky Club to himself. "Now the opportunity is in front of the president of the Blue Sky Association. The people in the study have already left. Did they sneak into the study to steal documents or quietly leave the villa?" The president of the Blue Sky Club made a foolish choice. There are rules in the industry. Thieves don't leave empty spaces. The president of the Blue Sky Club quietly entered the study. "Ha! Who are you?" The president of the Blue Sky Club was discovered as soon as he entered the study. If it were in the past, the president of the Blue Sky Club would definitely confirm if there was anyone in the study taking action. But because he saw the monster just now, the president of the Blue Sky Club felt a bit scared and only wanted to complete the task quickly and leave. As a result, the president of the Blue Sky Club failed this time. The president of the Blue Sky Association followed the sound and stuttered in fear, "Gold, gold, and gold merge." Under the light of the study, that burly figure was the terrifying tycoon who made New York's black and white become pale at the sound, the underground emperor of New York. Gene Bing. The next second, the president of the Blue Sky Club immediately made the wisest decision of his life. Run. The president of the Blue Sky Club escaped from this terrifying villa at lightning speed. The process of escaping is extremely dangerous. Various gunshots and dog barks echoed through the night sky. The president of the Blue Sky Club, relying on his agile skills and outstanding skills, successfully escaped from the heavens. But then, Gene issued a pursuit order against the president of the Blue Sky Club. The influence of Gene he is enormous. Under the probe, the figure of the president of the Blue Sky Association was faithfully captured. A few days later, a subordinate of Gene he stumbled upon a target while strolling on the streets of Brooklyn. So, without hesitation, he took out his pistol on the spot and injured the target. The injured president of the Blue Sky Club moved into Downstate Hospital in Brooklyn. Gene's subordinates are searching everywhere in Brooklyn for the whereabouts of the president of the Blue Flying Society. Downstate Hospital, Second Morgue. LV Nguyen met Li Mei and her mother. "Sister Mei. I'm here. Xiao Nguyen. You have finally arrived." When LV Nguyen rushed forward and wanted to protect Li Mei's mother blocked in front of LV Nguyen. "Are you the disciple Li Hua received?" "Yes, my name is LV Nguyen." "You white-eyed wolf. Your master is dead, and you don't know where to play. Teacher, listen to my explanation. Get out of here. You're not allowed to see Xiao Mei again in the future." Upon hearing these words, LV Nguyen's face turned pale. "Mom. It's not like that. Xiao Nguyen must have his own troubles. Xiao Mei, listen to Mom. This kind of white-eyed wolf, let's not talk to him in the future. What are you still doing here? Get out of here." LV Nguyen's mouth opened and then closed again. LV Nguyen silently walked up to Li Hua's body and knelt down with a thud. "Master. I have already avenged you. You can rest in peace now." After finishing speaking, LV Nguyen respectfully kowtowed 3 times to Li Hua's body. The speaker has no intention, but the listener has a heart. Li Mei's mother immediately questioned LV Nguyen, "You said you avenged your master. Who did you lie to?" "Shermu. It's true. I just went to Shermu's house, but you guys weren't at home. When I left, I happened to meet the black young man who shot Sherfu. I knocked him down and called the police. I saw the police take him into the police car with my own eyes. I believe he will be punished by the law. Sherfu's spirit in heaven can also rest in peace." "What? Xiao Nguyen, is this true?" Are you really avenging my father? It's true. If you don't believe it, you can go to the Brooklyn Police Department to inquire. That black young man has already been arrested and brought to justice. Li Mei said gratefully to LV Nian, Xiao Nian, I believe in you. Li Mei's mother, on the other hand, had her eyes constantly spinning, unsure of what she was thinking. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Saving People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Saving People. After Jin's subordinates shot and injured the president of the Blue Sky Club, they cast a net around Brooklyn to search for his whereabouts. The president of the Blue Sky Club is also a smart person. Ordinary people who have been shot and chased after must not dare to go to the hospital for treatment with great fanfare. But the president of the Blue Sky Club, a skilled artist, is brave. He happened to have been admitted to the hospital, and he was still staying in a luxurious ward. Jin's subordinates couldn't find him for a while. But there is no absolute thing in the world. In the hospital, there are many people with mixed eyes, and any unexpected situation can happen. Although the president of the Blue Xiang Association hides in the hospital room every day, staying at the front door and staying at the second door. But Jin's subordinates still discovered his whereabouts. A subordinate of Jin, he happened to be hospitalized at Downstate Hospital due to injury, and lived next door to the president of the Blue Xiang Association. Just before LV Nian came to Downstate Hospital, the two of them had an unexpected encounter in the hospital restroom. The president of the Blue Xiang Society did not know Jin Jie's subordinates, but Jin Jie's subordinates recognized the president of the Blue Xiang Society at a glance. Jin's subordinates immediately made a phone call, and dozens of Jin's subordinates fiercely attacked Downstate Hospital. In the second morgue, LV Nian and Li Mei's mother parted ways unhappily. Li Mei's mother, for some unknown reason, was very hostile towards LV Nian and kept speaking out to expel her. Li Mei was sandwiched between two people and felt very embarrassed. LV Nian didn't want to make Li Mei difficult, so she took the initiative to leave. The morgue is located underground. When LV Nian returned to the first floor, he happened to pass by a man wearing a floral T-shirt. If it were in the past, the person who was knocked down would definitely be LV Nian. But now, it is the T-shirt man who has been knocked down. The T-shirt man got up from the ground and glared at LV Nian with an angry expression on his face. Kid. Did you do it on purpose? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I don't care if you intentionally hit me or not. Take out $1,000 immediately, and this matter is considered over. Otherwise, I want you to look good. Lu Nian never expected that if he bumped into anyone in the hospital, he would encounter bad people. After hearing the words of the T-shirt man, LV Nian couldn't help but laugh. Hee hee. Are you sure you want me to compensate? Of course. My arm was hurt by you just now. Hurry up and lose money. The T-shirt man finished speaking and took out a pistol from his pocket, pointing it at LV Nian. In the United States, holding a gun is a legal act, so you may be pointed at in the head by someone anytime and anywhere while walking on the street. The feeling of being pointed at by someone with a gun made LV Nian feel very uncomfortable. LV Nian immediately stared at the T-shirt man with a cold gaze. Kid. Hurry up and pay. My gun doesn't recognize people. If it catches fire later, it won't be good for anyone. Do you think so? I don't have money. No money. Do you think I'm lying to you? Bang. The T-shirt man suddenly pointed his pistol at the ceiling and decisively fired it. Kid. Did you see it? Hurry up and pay. Otherwise, the next shot will definitely hit you. Upon hearing these words, LV Nian still stood still, motionless. Hee hee. Big brother, do you believe in retribution in this world? Retribution. Ha ha ha. It's impossible. I don't believe there is retribution in this world. If there were retribution, I would have been. Ah 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 ah. The male voice of the T-shirt has not yet fallen, heaven brings justice. The T-shirt man was hit straight by the falling ceiling before he could finish speaking. The T-shirt man's luck is really bad. The shot he just casually fired at the ceiling happened to hit the joint on the ceiling. Downstate Hospital has a long history, with its old ceiling unable to withstand the impact of bullets and falling down. T-shirt men suffer from self-harm. At the moment when the T-shirt man was hit by the ceiling, LV Nguyen couldn't help but twitch his face. I hope this time, you can learn a little lesson. There really is retribution in this world, said LV Nguyen to the T-shirt man who didn't know what to do after finishing speaking. LV Nguyen walked towards the hospital gate without looking back. Bang! 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 Da-da-da! Bang! Bang! At this moment, the sound of pistols, submachine guns, and shotguns suddenly came from upstairs. LV Nguyen immediately realized that something big was happening upstairs. If it were in the past, LV Nguyen would definitely be indifferent to oneself, hanging high. But now, LV Nguyen has become a Cavelier. The sense of responsibility that LV Nguyen shoulders makes it impossible for him to sit idly by and ignore what is happening in front of him. Save people. This is the first thought that came to LV Nguyen's mind. At this moment, it's very lively playing upstairs. The members of the Blue Xiang Society, along with Jean Bing's subordinates, are fighting fiercely. The president of the Blue Sky Club is not a fuel-efficient lamp, he has long called all his subordinates to protect himself. Taking advantage of his subordinates' efforts to hold down the enemy, the president of the Blue Xiang Society quietly slipped away alone. The president of the Blue Sky Club has a strong premonition that if he doesn't leave again, he will definitely die here today. Not long after the president of the Blue Sky Club fled, a man with both hands made of robotic arms rushed to the scene. Ah ah ah. Ah. All the members of the Blue Sky Club who were left behind, without exception, were brutally killed by this man. LV Nguyen and the president of the Blue Xiang Society met in the staircase. Two people, one busy going upstairs and the other busy going downstairs, happened to bump into each other. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Someone is chasing me, I need to run away quickly. The president of Lanxiang Association apologized to LV Nguyen eagerly and wanted to continue running away. Wait. The gunfire upstairs just now means someone is chasing you. That's right. Don't worry. I'll protect you. You. Protect me. Why? Don't ask so many questions now. Let's go to a safe place first. Without saying a word, LV Nguyen picked up the president of the Blue Xiang Association and ran downstairs. With LV Nguyen's current physical fitness, carrying a person on his back can still walk briskly. Meanwhile, outside an ancient mansion in the suburbs of Brooklyn, New York. The black youth who was supposed to be sent to the police station was sent here by the police. The black youth saw the gloomy old house in front of them and immediately exclaimed, "What are you doing?" "I want to go to the police station. I'm a criminal. I want to surrender. You can't use lynching on me outside. This is illegal. I need to find a lawyer to defend myself." However, the two police officers ignored the pleading of the black youth and forcibly carried them towards the old house. At the entrance of the ancient mansion, two police officers said to the guards, "Hail Hydra." The guards of the ancient mansion responded to them, "Hail Hydra." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Confusion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Confusion. LV Nguyen left downstate hospital with the president of the Blue Xiang Club behind his back. Jin's subordinates saw the two people who had escaped from the hospital through the window. Look. He's down there. Someone is running on his back. Hurry up. Jin's subordinates left downstate hospital with all their hands and feet. The Blue Sky Club in New York has become a historical term. Similar things happen in New York. Liu Nian carried the president of the Blue Xiang Society on his back and came to the street, intending to take a taxi to escape. On the rooftop of Downstate Hospital, a man with mechanical arms on both hands stared coldly at Liu Nian and the president of the Blue Xiang Association. The man suddenly swung his right hand, and the robotic arm immediately began to recombine at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few short breaths, the man's right robotic arm turned into a sniper rifle shining with cold light. The man aimed a sniper rifle at the head of the president of the Blue Sky Club. Bang! The loud sound of the sniper rifle echoed through the entire Downstate Hospital and nearby streets. On the street, Liu Nian wanted to help the president of the Blue Xiang Society enter and exit the rough car. Suddenly, a huge blood flower bloomed in front of Liu Nian. Liu Nian was surprised to find that half of the head of the president of the Blue Xiang Association had disappeared without a trace. Liu Nian followed the sound and saw a hideous-looking man on the rooftop of Downstate Hospital, looking towards him. With superior vision, Liu Nian could clearly see that the man's left hand was a robotic arm, while his right hand was a sniper rifle. A word immediately came to Liu Nian's mind: monster. For a moment, Liu Nian wanted to rush up to the rooftop of Downstate Hospital, avenge the president of the Blue Sky Club, and have a showdown with the monsters. But in the end, Liu Nian's rationality gained the upper hand. Although Liu Nian's physical fitness has doubled that of an ordinary person, he still has no defense against firearms. No matter how strong Liu Nian is, he will ultimately be flesh and blood, unable to withstand the attack of bullets. But the reality is, the monster didn't even take Liu Nian seriously. After using a sniper rifle to kill the leader of the Blue Xiang Society, the monster ignored Liu Nian and turned around to leave. The taxi driver, seeing the dead person, was frightened and quickly drove away. Liu Nian stood dumbfounded in place, holding the body of the president of the Blue Xiang Association, unsure of what to do. A passerby saw this scene and called the police number. The police quickly arrived at the scene and took Liu Nian and the body away. At the same time, in an ancient mansion in the suburbs of Brooklyn, the poor black youth was taken to the basement of the ancient mansion by 2 police officers. The basement has a large area. On the basement wall, there is a huge LCD screen. In the center of the basement, there are several operating beds. In the basement, there is a large group of people wearing white coats walking around the room, not knowing what they are busy with. The black youth was quickly taken to an operating bed by 2 police officers and secured. The black youth made a final plea with common sense: "Let me go. Please let me go." But still no one paid attention to him. At this moment, the LCD screen on the wall suddenly lit up. Everyone in the basement immediately stopped their work and looked respectfully at the big screen. To the surprise of the black youth, a strange guy appeared on the screen. The black youth couldn't help but roar, "What kind of monster is this? Who can tell me?" The monster on the screen said happily, "Kid, listen to me quietly. My name is Zola and I am the owner of this ancient house. I don't care who you are. Hurry up and let me go." "Sorry, I can't let you go. Besides, your hands and arms are both broken now. Even if I let you out, you would still be a useless person. It's better for you to stay and make my experimental sample." "Ha ha ha. Please. Let me go. I don't want to be your experimental sample. Dr. Gordon, this experiment is entirely up to you." A man in a white coat replied, "Yes. Dr. Zola. Please rest assured. This time, I will definitely transform the Hydra into a perfect warrior. I wish you success in your experiment, Dr. Gordon. Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra." The black young man on the operating bed heard the conversation between Dr. Zola and Dr. Gordon, and his heart was filled with fear. "I don't want to be a test subject. Please let me go. Please, I." Before the black youth could finish speaking, a person wearing a white coat injected an anesthetic into the black youth. The black youth immediately fell asleep. Dr. Gordon walked towards the black youth with a grim smile on his face. This is really a perfect test piece. It has great value for modification. At the Brooklyn police station, after Liu Nian finished recording his confession, he was released. There are surveillance cameras on the streets of New York. After reviewing the surveillance footage, the police acquitted Liu Nian. After walking out of the police station, Liu Nian looked bewildered. Liu Nian suddenly gained powerful strength and didn't know what to do. Liu Nian is currently unemployed. Li Hua is dead, and Li Mei's mother plans to sell the pizza shop. It's not easy for Liu Nian to find a new job in New York. Liu Nian is only 16 years old this year. In the United States, 21 years old is considered an adult. Liu Nian looked up and saw that the sky was getting dark. She decided to go home first. Liu Nian's home is in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn. Strictly speaking, Brooklyn should be divided into two regions, North Brooklyn and South Brooklyn. South Brooklyn has good public security and many upscale communities. 70% of the population are white, 10% are Chinese, and 20% are from other ethnic groups. North Brooklyn has poor security and is a gathering place for black people. Liu Nian's home is located in a slum in Brooklyn. Liu Nian walked through a narrow and pitch-black street and returned home. Xiao Nian. You're back. Why are you back so late today? Mom. My master. Liu Nian hesitated to speak, not knowing how to say it. What's wrong, Xiao Nian? What are you trying to say? Master, he's dead. Oh. He's dead. What? What are you talking about, Xiao Nian? How can you talk nonsense? Mom, what I'm saying is true. Today noon, my master was shot to death. Liu Nian told her mother the whole story of the incident. I didn't expect Xiaomei's mother to be so indifferent to old relationships. She wants to sell the pizza shop. Well. So, Mom, I'm unemployed now. Xiao Nian, don't worry. Everything will be okay. Mom trusts you. You can definitely find a new job. Upon hearing this, Liu Nian nodded without hesitation. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Finding Jobs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Finding Jobs. That night, Liu Nian lay in her small bed, sleepless all night. Liu Nian lay in bed, tossed and turned, but couldn't come up with a result. Liu Nian now has the intention of becoming a hero who cultivates the strong and supports the weak. But in this era where one penny can't defeat a hero, Liu Nian must first solve his own food and clothing problems. It seems that tomorrow, I must first find a job. With my current physical condition, it is very suitable to move bricks. Moving bricks, especially in New York, is a very impressive job in the United States. A bricklayer in New York is definitely a high-paying profession. As long as you work hard, you can rely on moving bricks and get rich. In New York, behind all the bricklayers, there is strong union support, so they can work tirelessly and honestly. It is said that there was once a subway project in New York, with 5 bricklayers working on the construction site. But their way of working is really surprising. 5 bricklayers line up at the station, passing one brick to another with their hands. Even if he works tirelessly, an ordinary bricklayer in New York can easily earn tens of thousands of dollars a month. However, becoming a proud bricklayer is not an easy task. A formal bricklayer needs to register with the union and obtain a certificate to work. With this one rule, it restricts the majority of people's dreams of getting rich by moving bricks. Liu Nian's age and length of service do not match, so he will definitely not be able to obtain a certificate from the union. Fortunately, corruption exists everywhere. New York is no exception. A bricklayer is a profitable object. Let's give an analogy. For the same project, if the construction party hires certified bricklayers from the union, it will cost tens of millions of dollars in wages. But if using unlicensed black workers, the construction party only needs to pay millions of dollars in wages. Another benefit of using black workers is that if they accidentally die during work, the construction party only needs to dig a pit and bury the body. No one will be idle and foolish enough to apologize for those black workers. On the contrary, if a certified porter dies in an accident while working, the construction party may lose everything. BMW turning into a motorcycle is definitely not a sensational statement. Therefore, black workers are quite popular at various construction sites in New York. The brick moving job that LV Nguyen is looking for is to work as a black laborer at a construction site. LV Nguyen thought about it and fell into a sleep. At the same time, in the ancient mansion on the outskirts of Brooklyn, there is a poor black youth who is undergoing inhumane human experiments. Dr. Gordon, a member of the Hydra, is a biological authority in a fighter jet among scumbags. Dr. Gordon's greatest hobby in his daily life is to conduct various abnormal and inhumane experiments. Anim Zola immediately recognized Dr. Gordon's talent. Two highly intelligent individuals with the same psychological abnormalities, as soon as they met, were deeply attracted by each other's evil talents and had a similar odor. Sting. Squeak. Click. Click. The body of a black youth, transformed by Dr. Gordon into, people are not like humans, ghosts are not like ghosts, what a miserable word. But Dr. Gordon had a lot of fun playing. At the same time, the man with two robotic arms returned to Jean He's villa and was reporting his work to him. The one who doesn't have eyes is already dead. Hey. Carl, I've told you so many times. Don't be too conspicuous. What are you afraid of? What can't those police do to me? Carl, I know your abilities. But sometimes, it's better to do less than to do more. Carl nodded without hesitation, but clearly felt very dissatisfied. Jean didn't see the situation and didn't say anything more. Eliminating a blue sky club is just a trivial matter for Jean Bing. The people of Lan Xianghui are not guilty to death, but Jean Jie needs to maintain his dignity in the underworld. As the underground emperor of New York, he had countless pairs of eyes, staring at the throne of Kim Woo. Jean, and in order to maintain his dignity, the Blue Sky Society must be eliminated. And the president of the Blue Sky Club must also die. This is also the reason why Jean did not hesitate to send Carl to personally take action. The next morning, LV Nguyen woke up from her small bed. LV Nguyen's mother has already gone to work at the tailor's shop. However, before leaving, LV Nguyen's mother thoughtfully prepared breakfast for him. A fried egg, 3 slices of bread, a glass of milk, honey, and jam. Although it was just a simple breakfast, it contained a strong maternal love. LV Nguyen sat at the dining table with some emotion, thinking about moving bricks while eating breakfast. After finishing breakfast, LV Nguyen glanced at the time and realized it was almost 9 o'clock. LV Nguyen immediately changed into casual clothes and prepared to go out looking for a job. Just as LV Nguyen was changing clothes, the sound of shouting for help suddenly came from the next door. LV Nguyen's neighbor is a black old lady in her 60s. LV Nguyen usually calls her Mrs. Henry. On weekdays, Mrs. Henry takes good care of LV Nguyen. Sometimes, LV Nguyen's mother couldn't come home on time to cook dinner because she worked overtime at night. Mrs. Henry would let LV Nguyen come to her own home to have dinner. LV Nguyen heard Mrs. Henry's cry for help and rushed out without saying a word. LV Nguyen saw from the window that Mrs. Henry was being beaten by a black youth who was pinned to the ground. LV Nguyen immediately rushed in and grabbed the black youth. Damn it! How dare you hit Mrs. Henry? The black youth looked at the frail Chinese-American boy in front of him, who was able to lift himself up. The shock in his heart was indescribable. LV Nyen couldn't help but punch the black youth in the stomach. The black young man immediately covered his stomach in pain and knelt on the ground, his mouth twitching uncontrollably. LV Nyen ignored the black youth and ran over to help Mrs. Henry up. "Mrs. Henry. Are you okay?" I'm fine." "Mrs. Henry, what exactly happened?" "Who is he?" "He's a thief. I just came back from outside and saw him rummaging through boxes and cabinets at my house. I was about to call the police, but he caught me. He rushed over and knocked me down to the ground." "Xiao Nian, thank you so much for coming. Otherwise, my old bone might have been buried at home today." "Mrs. Henry, don't worry. That villain has already been knocked down by me. You should call the police immediately." Okay. Mrs. Henry hurriedly took out her phone and dialed the police number. After more than 10 minutes, the police arrived at Mrs. Henry's house and took away the thief who was still convulsing. After confirming that Mrs. Henry was fine, LV Nyen set off to look for a job. End of this chapter.